Hello, and thank you for stopping by the Stuff I Heard podcast. This is your host, Joshua Peak. Hi, everybody. Today is January the 4th, 2019. It is a new year, baby. New year. I don't know how excited you guys are about it, but I'm excited. You know, around the holidays, everybody kind of goes through a bit of a lull. There is the excitement and the fun of getting to, see family that you haven't seen in a while and to hang out and to, celebrate and that kind of stuff. And then after the holidays, there is a time period there where some people are going through some personal struggles. There are a lot of people that have trouble connecting with one another. There are people who maybe have lost family members, and it's very hard for them to feel in the spirit. But for many of us, like even after the holidays, there is sort of a letdown, I guess if you were to call it a serotonin, dopamine excitement of the holidays. Then afterwards you feel the drain of the endorphins kind of coming back down. And I've gotten a bit of that in the last couple of days. I don't know if it's necessarily to do with the holidays itself, or if it's a combination of work and stress and whatnot of that. But I have kind of gotten into a bit of a funk. And I know that all of us kind of deal with this kind of stuff from time to time. And depression really does not have a face. So, hello, if you're watching this on YouTube, here's my face. And I've been depressed lately. It's not anything in particular that's happened. It's not. I don't think that I need any kind of chemical help. I don't know if I need anybody to talk to. But I have a platform here. I have a YouTube channel and a podcast and people listening, and I appreciate every one of you guys. And for the most part, I try and stay upbeat and I try and stay positive, and I'm a bit of an optimist. I like to think the best of people. But there are times where I just can't seem to get out of my own funk. I don't know if anybody else knows what I'm talking about, or if I'm just kind of the only one here. But I'm going to put this out there anyway. It has rained here a depressing amount of time. We live in South Carolina, and you would expect rain like this, as you see on TV from somewhere like, I don't know, Seattle, Portland, Paris, I guess, England. Not from South Carolina. I used to tell people all the time that, it's 365 days out of the year. It maybe rains 30 or so days out of the year here. 30 or 40 days out of the year. Which is probably close to accurate. I mean, I'm no math person. I'm no statistician. How do you say it? Statistician? Statistician? I don't know. The person who keeps up with that kind of crap. But if I were to guess, I'd say 30 to 40 days out of the year. And of those 30 to 40 days out of the year that rains, my work days are probably about 20 or 25 of those, which is pretty accurate. Now, if you think about 365 days out of the year, and I'm working in the rain 20 or 25 days out of the year, which is not my favorite days, that's not a bad average when you look at all the days that you could be working where the weather's nice. When it does rain, it makes it harder to do my job, as it does for a lot of us. But, visibility is down, the irritation factor's up. Let's face it, the rain gets in your ears, it gets in the back of your neckline, it runs down your back, sometimes into your shorts. Not a whole lot of fun. And when it's cold, it seems to, have the water just sit on your body, and it chills your body even cooler, it makes you feel grumpy. And maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's because it's rained so much and we're here in January, and it's kind of just on me all the time. This rain. Rain, 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 rain. And I'm tired of the rain. I kind of want to have a nice day to be able to sit outside and, breathe the air and feel great and, all that fun stuff. But I don't really have that right now. And I'm sure that once the sun comes out again, I'll feel better. As it often goes, you get a little bit of opportunity to breathe the fresh air and, enjoy the day. And, you know, I'll come out of it. I'm kind of out of it now. I've kind of, you know, went over the hump, I guess you'd say. Maybe because it's Friday. Maybe because I was able to come home and know that I don't have to be at work until Monday. I can relax. I did have some laundry to do, and I'm not really sure what we're going to do for dinner, but that's not a big deal. That's kind of, you know, something people go through all the time. But, you know, everything takes time. You have to allot your time accordingly. So, you know, you get off of work, there's time to take a shower, you know, you got to wash clothes, you got to, you know, plan a podcast. Hi, guys. But sometimes you run out of time. Sometimes you just don't have the time. Now, there is something very interesting that I've come across on my YouTube page, which is Joshua Peak on YouTube. You can peruse all of the things that I've posted. I put out something on September the 8th, a video that has turned viral. I've done this a couple of times, not intentionally. I've just put something out there and it's taken off. This has taken off like crazy here lately, and I don't know why. I don't know where it's published or shared or how I've tapped into something that people are into. And I can only imagine that it has to do with the fact that you know, Spectrum and Comcast and these different cable companies keep upping their rates. You know, DirecTV. I've talked about that kind of stuff before. You know, we had DirecTV and they kept going up on our rates, and I finally said I'd had it. I'm not going to pay this. And I had spent a good year trying to get my wife more comfortable with watching Netflix than watching regular television. And, you know, I say her, but also me too. I mean, I needed both of us to kind of get in that mindset of, I don't want to watch commercials anymore, and I don't want to pay $150 a month for reruns of shows that I don't care about. And there was a lot of shows on regular TV I just didn't care about. And we would find ourselves watching just stupid shows, not because we wanted to, just because of lack of options. And it wasn't that there was a lack of options of channels. There was a lot of channels, just nothing worthwhile to watch. And so we had gotten into this, you know, pursuit of, let's get comfortable with watching Netflix. And let's face it, Netflix started coming out with a lot of good content. We also got Amazon Prime, and Prime has started to make a lot of good content as well. And we just sort of got in the habit. And, you know, we had negotiated with DirecTV to come down on our price, and we were paying about $65 a month for a while, and then they went up on our bill. And I told my wife, I said, when this thing gets over $100, that's it. I am done. I am beyond done with these people. And I'll tell you what, quitting them is hard because they're vulturous. I mean, they don't want to let you go. Oh, let me transfer you to so-and-so, and then they hang up on you. And that pisses me off more than anything, because I'm like, listen, if I stop my check, you guys will call me, I guarantee you. But, you know, this is ridiculous. So anyway, I made a video on September 8th. It's titled OTA, capital O-T-A, Antenna, 150-mile range-free HD quality TV. And it's an 8-minute and 18-second video that I published basically saying, you know, hey, I bought this antenna at Walmart and I'm sticking it up in my house, and I can pick up channels at Myrtle Beach, which is about 80 miles away. And it works great. I get HD quality channels. I get a lot of channels. We're kind of lucky here living in Florence, South Carolina, that we could point the antenna towards the beach or towards Columbia and pick up a lot of channels. And they're free. They're over-the-air channels. Now, we've kind of been brainwashed into thinking that we have to have DirecTV or, you know, regular cable or something like that, and we don't. We don't need that. They've gotten greedy, they've gotten ridiculous with their pricing, and it's unnecessary. It's just not necessary. TV itself is changing. You know, I grew up in a time where you had rabbit ears on your television and you could pick up like 3 channels. And if you had one with a UHF thing, then you turn it onto a certain dial and you spin the little bottom dial. It had 2 dials. Spin the little bottom dial and you might pick up 1 or 2 other channels. Or if you lived in a busier area, you pick up more. But at some time, I want to say, God, when was it? I was a young boy when my stepdad announced, we're getting cable. And I was like, what's cable? Well, it turns out cable's a whole lot of channels that we never had before. And there was a pretty picture and we could watch all kinds of stuff. But I don't remember how much cable cost back then because I was a kid. But growing up as an adult, when eventually it was my turn to buy cable for myself, I remember cable was probably 50 or 60 bucks a month. So nothing really changed as far as the quality. A few other channels have been added, but that's about it. But yet the fees just kept going up. And then somewhere along the way, somebody came out with, you know, the small personal use satellite dish kind of thing, like DirecTV and Dish Network and stuff like that. And they worked okay. I mean, you know, I'm not going to knock it. I mean, when I got it, I was like, oh wow, I get all these channels and they look great. This is awesome. Everything's in HD. It looks beautiful on my TV. Yay! For $60 a month. And then when they went up to $120, I was like, I'm not yaying anymore. This is ridiculous. I called and complained. They lowered my price back down to $65 a month for a year. And then they raised it again. And I called and complained. They lowered it back down again. And then they raised it again. And I was like, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I can't have... It's sort of like being in an abusive relationship that you know, the person you're with just keeps saying, you know what, I don't like you. And then like, no, I really like you. No, I don't like you. I mean, it's okay. We're good. No, we're not good. You know, at a certain point, you just have to say enough. Okay? And I did. I said enough. We got rid of DirecTV. We're using our free antenna thing to watch ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. And I know there's a lot of other channels out there that everybody's raving about. Oh, I love MeTV and Comet TV. And well, good for you. I don't watch those. I watch college football and pro football and the weather whenever there's a hurricane coming. And that's about it. I got a lot of people saying, oh, we need to put it on top of your house and you need to do this, you need to do that. Great, come over here and help me do it. I personally would like to mount the thing in my attic and run cable through the fire breaks in the wall all the way up to the attic somehow without it looking terrible and without me tearing up the wall too bad. But I don't know how to do that just yet. It's something I'm thinking about and trying to work out engineering wise so that it doesn't make too much of a mess. But this video has caught fire. This video, like I said, I put it out on September 8th. Already has 53,000 views. I've got over 152 comments on it. That's crazy. That is a ton of clicks and likes and comments. Even right now, like while I'm talking to you, I've gotten 3 comments posted. It keeps popping up as bubbles on my screen because I'm using my Google to use Anchor. It keeps popping up on my screen. Hey, I got something to say about this. I'm like, okay. But now, I gotta be honest. I'm the kind of person where if somebody writes me, I try to write you back. I try and say, hey, you know, I appreciate you guys taking the time to chime in and be a part of this. I just don't know I can answer everybody's. I mean, holy cow. This is my most commented on video yet. I think this even surpasses the duct tape wart videos as far as comments. It's crazy. Crazy. Let's see. Most viewed. Let's see what happens here. No, not newest. Yeah, there we go. Most viewed. Okay. Comments. Okay, I'm wrong. I am wrong. I'm not extremely wrong though. I did a video how to turn up your hot water heater. That's got 441,000 views and 529 comments. That's a bit more. It's a bit more. I get a lot of thumbs down people. There's a lot of poo-poo people out there. They just like to poo-poo on your parade. I don't know how I feel about that. Poo-poo people. Maybe that's a sign of success. Maybe people that poo-poo on your parade, they're just jealous, or you didn't do it the way I would have done it. Whatever. Whatever, man. Hey, listen. I'm not the only person out there making YouTube videos. Anybody can do it. I'm living proof, buddy. Buddy. So anywho, I'm just surprised. It amazes me that that's even a thing, and that it's actually working, and you know, I'm being able to share my information with other people. Now, apparently the video is helping people decide, hey, maybe I do need to try out a video. Because, I mean, I hook up the thing, I show you what the channels look like. I'm like, look at all the channels I get. I live 80 miles away from the beach. Look at there. I have it in the house. It's going through walls. Yes, there's trees in the backyard. I mean, it works fine indoors. There's a lot of people saying, don't mount that outside. It's a piece of crap. It plastic breaks and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I won't mount it outside. It's inside. I wouldn't want that thing sticking on top of my house anyway, because it's not that pretty, and it's pretty flimsy. But it works great indoors. So, you know, why everybody gotta be so hateful? That's all I'm saying. Why can't we just get along? Why can't we all get along? So anyway, this is the Stuff I Heard podcast. So let's talk about some stuff I heard, shall we? Shall we? Let's go down the list here, shall we? Shall we? Okay, so I had talked a while back about listening to Bert Kreischer interview two of the actors from the Runaways, the show Runaways on Hulu, Renzi Feliz and Kevin Weissman, and I have tried to watch the Runaways. I don't have Hulu. See, that's one of those pay services like Netflix, and I don't have Hulu. But I hear the show is great and good for them. I tried to watch it on Kodi and it wouldn't let me. So apparently it's not viewable yet for me. But I did check out Bert's next episode, which was Brian Regan, and it was recorded on the 26th, episode 323. Brian Regan is a stand-up comedian. He does a lot of characters on radio shows like the Bob and Tom show, which I used to listen to. He would call in, and one of his famous, you know, it's not a bit, it's kind of a character, sort of the dumb guy. You know, he talks about going to the airport, and you know, the taxi driver is like, all right, have a good flight. And he said, and without thinking, you always go, yeah, okay, you too. And he's like, what, like the guy's going to take a flight? And he's like, God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, that's sort of his humor, is like he looking at, you know, the way people interact with each other and kind of pointing out when we do stupid things. And, you know, he's funny. Now, he's got a special on Netflix, and I've tried to watch it, and I got to be honest, it's not that funny. I like Brian Regan. I like to hear him in interviews. I think he's a fun guy. And I know that amongst comedians, they really enjoy him. But I didn't care for the special. I'm sorry. It just wasn't for me. That's not saying that it's not funny to somebody else. And I mean, by all means, if you have Brian Regan in your corner, you know, hey, good for you. Support him. I mean, I talk openly about the comedians that I support and have in my corner that I'm like, these are my guys. So anyway, check out Brian Regan's special, I guess. You know, send him some love. If I'm not the only one, like if you're also like, I don't think this was that great, like let me know, because I don't want to be like alone on this. I think it's one of those unpopular opinions that only I share right now. I also listened to the Open Tabs episode shortly thereafter. It was pretty entertaining. Bert talked a little bit about Frankenstein's Lab. They're on YouTube. It's two black dudes watching comedians, and it's sort of like their reaction videos. But it's a big hit apparently, and he's had them on the podcast before. They're pretty cool. He talked about Mr. Ben Brown and Ben Brown Hair, two different people. There's a dude playing an acoustic guitar singing a Wu-Tang Clan song that he plays a little bit of. That's pretty good. The State King is on there a little bit. They play something from his Instagram. If you don't know, go on Instagram and check out The State King. Paul Baldwin is killing it with steaks. Good job, Paul. But the episode I want to talk about was 324, Mo Amer. That's M-O, which is short for Muhammad. Amer, A-M-E-R. Now, he's a stand-up comedian, and apparently he has a special on Netflix that I can't find. It's called The Vagabond. I gotta search it up by name because I went through looking last night after I listened to this episode, trying to find where he was, and I could not find him on the search. I don't know if it's because of my search history, or they're like, you know, like when you click things you like and it has like suggestions, if it goes, no, wait, dude, we know what you want. It's not this Muslim guy. I like Mo. I liked his interview. Bert talks about the fact that, you know, the reason he had the podcast was because he got the ability to sit down with people like this and have a conversation, learn from one another. Mo talks about growing up as a Palestinian in Kuwait and having to be a refugee and flee when he was like 11 years old and moved to Houston. He grew up in Houston and, you know, became a stand-up comedian and, you know, started touring with Dave Chappelle, and he's very interesting. Let me tell you, this is a great interview. This is a great interview. I'm going to say it a third time. This is a great interview. Mo Amer, I had to go on his social media and start following him. I'm like, dude, I'd love to hear you do stand-up. And I'm going to find his stuff on Netflix and comment on the next episode. Great interview. Great guy. I mean, holy cow. I enjoyed that immensely. I want to talk for a second about Second Chance Church podcast. Okay? It's just like it sounds. The word second, not the number 2 ND. Second Chance Church podcast. The pastor is Perry Noble. Perry helped start the church that I go to currently. I go to New Spring, and I've talked about New Spring on here, and I've talked about Perry before. We're kind of going through something right now, the wife and I, and many of the members of New Spring, where Perry is putting out a podcast sermon on a regular basis, and he's got one out that came out today, Open Hands Over Pointed Fingers. It's got the little, you know how you do the little sign on your keyboard that's greater than? Open hands greater than pointed fingers? I guess that's what it's supposed to be. The information here says, as people of love, we should always be quick to extend an open hand of acceptance rather than pointed finger of accusation. Join us for week 1 of our series, Any Given Sunday. Now, take a deep breath before I begin this. I am currently wearing my New Spring shirt that says No Ordinary Family. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it. We started going to this church because we were going through some stuff as a family, and we had people that we knew that kept saying, I think you guys should try out our church. I think this is the place for you. And we went very apprehensively to begin with because this church was inside of a civic center at the time. They were broadcasting live on these giant movie screens, and we didn't know what to expect. My wife and I grew up traditional Southern Baptist, where basically you sat there and didn't say anything, and a red-faced preacher would yell at you and tell you how you're all going to hell, and then they'd pass around a collection plate and go, come on, you got to give till it hurts. And you're going to, you know, you get the idea. It was fire and brimstone and damnation and all that other stuff. And that was what we were raised with. And if you spoke out or raised your hands or, you know, were vocal in any way, they looked at you funny. If you didn't come in the door wearing a suit and tie, they wouldn't let you in. You know, it was very elitist in a lot of ways. And New Spring's not like that. We walked in the door, everybody kept telling us, you know, oh no, dress is casual. They just want you to come in the door. Come in the door. Hear the message. Hear the word. And we were all about it. We were like, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. And we went in as a family. And we sat together and we listened to the word and we were like, we got inspired. And I remember after the first service we walked out and Perry preached and we got back in the vehicle and like we were all kind of quiet and my wife says, what do you think? And I was like, it was weird though. Like on the screen and yeah, but what do you think? And I was like, I think I liked it. And she's like, yeah, me too. And I was like, I think I want to go back. And the kids were like, yeah, we too, us too. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, that's good. And I was like, oh, okay. So we went back the next week. Next week, same thing. Perry preached. After it was over, we all got back in the car, and all of us again were like, but it's weird, like on the screen, right? And like, yeah. But it was good, right? Oh yeah, it was very good. I can't wait to hear the next one. I'm like, okay. So we kept going, and we kept going, we kept going, we kept going. At a certain point, we decided we wanted to be part of this church, and we asked, what do we got to do to be part of this church? We want to serve. We want to be on the serve team. We want to be able to help others. They had a saying, found people find people, and saved people serve people. I like it. Makes sense, right? So we did that. We wanted to be able to find people, and we wanted to be able to save people, and we wanted to be able to help people. Let's serve you. How can we serve you? And then at a certain point, it came to our realization that our pastor had a drinking problem, and apparently they tried to help him, and I guess they couldn't help him. Or for whatever reason, they decided to let him go, and they fired him. They said, we no longer want you to be our head pastor, and they let him go. And this is sort of like going through a divorce with your church, with the place that you know to be, I guess, centered in religion to you. You know what I mean? And he was kind of the polarizing head guy that convinced us that we needed to keep coming all the time to hear what he had to say. Now, I will say this up front. Perry is very charismatic, and he has the most unusual way of relating whatever's happening in your normal life to passages in the Bible. And it is fantastic. The way he does it is really fantastic. And I realize that he's flawed, and he's done some bad things, and he needs to figure out how to live his life with that problem, with those problems. He has more than one problem, and he's dealing with it. It doesn't take away from the fact that he is a gifted speaker, and come Sunday, I want to hear him speak. Now, I am invested in New Spring in the fact that I believe that the church has nothing to do with the building and everything to do with the people in it. And if we didn't have a building, we would still be a church of people, because we believe and we want to, have fellowship with one another, and we want to be able to lean on one another as a community, and work together to help others. Now, the pastors who have been preaching at New Spring since Perry left are all decent people. They're all decent pastors. Some of them are teaching pastors. Some of them used to be youth pastors. One of them is very good at evangelistic, going around and raising a bunch of money kind of preachers. But none of them are him. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that I get that going there and being a part of that community and being part of that church means that we're building the community and nurturing the community and being something more by being together. And not everybody has the same gifts. Not everybody has the same ability. I work with a lot of people at my job, and not a lot of them have the ability to do what I do. That's not to say that I do anything exceptional. It's just everybody's different, okay? When I hear a message by Perry and I compare it to what I've heard on this past Sunday at church, I go, okay, kind of mailing it in there, aren't you? I mean, boy, if you guys could hear Perry, all this would be different. And I don't know that that's the answer. I don't know what the right answer is. Let me reset my camera audio part. Like, what's he talking about? I do a YouTube portion of this, and for some reason my camera won't record over 30 minutes. Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like I go to church just for the people that are there, to help serve with them and to help build community with them. And I give the message air to breathe. And I sit and pray and hope, are you going to preach something for me today? Or are you just going to spin your wheels and talk about whatever is going on with you and not really share a message? Does that make any sense? Sometimes I feel like the person on stage is just going through the motions. Which is not to say that, I mean, listen, we all have days at work where we go through the motions, okay? If you're supposed to be the head pastor, though, and you've got a multi-site campus, you can't really have those days. You gotta know what you're going to say. You gotta have a point. You gotta be able to relate to the people. And at the end of the message, you gotta have them go, "Wow, that was good. That really hit home, man. I felt like he was preaching right to me." Now, for most people that go to most churches, that's probably not the service that you have. For me personally, every time I've heard Perry preach, not every time, let's say 99% of the time, 99% of every message I've heard him preach, I walk out of there going, holy crap, did he not just talk about everything I needed to hear? And I mean, he hit home. Jeez, I gotta change the way I'm thinking. He's right. He's charismatic. He is a lightning rod of, I don't know what you call it, a lightning rod of Jesus? I mean, it's unexplainable. You have to hear it, and then you go, oh, I get it. This guy's got that extra something, that extra thing, whatever it is. So, for what it's worth, I miss Perry. I'm still going to listen to his message. I don't want to stop going to New Spring because I like the community. I like being part of the community. But I just wish that he was allowed to preach there. I'm glad he's doing his own thing, and I want to support him. I want to be able to reach out to him and say, hey man, you know, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. I know that life's a struggle. I know that we're all flawed, and the head of the church is no different. If anything else, you make life more relatable. You don't hold people by a different standard, because you do realize you're walking through this too. And we all are. Whether we want to talk about it or not, we're all going through something. I talked about at the beginning of this podcast, I'm kind of having a little bit of depression. Hey, it happens. I'll figure out a way to get out of it. I always do. Or at least I hope I do. We'll see. Maybe it's because I watched that Netflix thing, that Bandersnatch Black Mirror thing. Maybe that bothered me way more than I thought. Don't know. Anywho, enough of that. I hope you guys are doing well. We got a little bit of a birthday party thing to go to tomorrow, and I had put a video on YouTube about selling my grill, and I found somebody to take the grill. Somebody I go to church with, coincidentally. I was going to sell it just because I have too many grills, and I have one that's actually just sat for a very long time without any use. I've cleaned it up on the inside and out, and I thought, you know, this is just taking up space, and it would help somebody a lot if they had it, and why don't I just find somebody to either sell it to or give it to? Well, I tried selling it, and nobody even bit. So now I'm just going to give it to somebody. Somebody who needs it, somebody who is kind of on a limited budget, and it'll help him and his family out a lot, and I feel good about it. So sometimes doing for others makes you feel better. Maybe that's my goal. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do. What if we all did that? What if we all just gave a little bit more? Couldn't hurt, right? Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, I am going to try to get somebody to do a phone interview so that I can test this thing out and you guys can hear what it sounds like. I don't have the ability yet to figure out how to get the video part to hear the audio, which I know nobody really cares about because you guys are listening to this on your headphones. But the sound quality should be good for a phone interview, and I'm going to try to do that. If you live anywhere near Albany, Georgia, my buddy Greg, his band 95, has a concert at Harvest Moon tomorrow, January 5th. Go check it out. If you want to look them up on Facebook, I think they have a Facebook page called 95, N-I-N-E-T-Y, and the number 5. They play 90s cover band songs. So go check them out. Should be fun. Like I said before, I want to promote Nic-Allsbrooks on his GoFundMe page. Let me find the information. Yeah, GoFundMe.com/Nic-Allsbrooks, Allsbrooks, and it's literally titled "Help Me Get to Lacoste France for Schooling." Lacoste France for Schooling. He's got a goal. He's got a donate button. See if you can help the kid get over there and enjoy his schooling. And that's it. Y'all take care. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Remember, 5 stars is good. Just kidding. Whatever. I heard that on a podcast once. Anyway, y'all take care, and we'll see you later.